All right, buzz, babies, and welcome back to another episode of Blake's Buzz. I've got a returning crew, and we are going to talk about some spooky stuff, because guess what? It's spooky season. When the pumpkin spice comes out, the jack-o'-lanterns come out to play. I don't really know where I'm going with that, but it's spooky time. Fall's coming. I'm excited, and we are going to talk about a very, very good comic. I have the crew of My Neighborhood Necromancer here to talk about necromancy, awesome comics, magic, and weird shit that goes bump in the night, folks. I've got Dylan Gilbertson, Jason Piper. Oh, fuck me. I've got Dylan Gilbertson, Jason Piperberg, and Luca motherfucking Romano in the Mother Buzzin' studio, folks. Let's talk comics. How we doing? I'm going to edit that. You won't hear it.
That was incredible.
There was a hiccup
stunned.
in that.
I'm stun locked right now.
I'm gonna need a week to recover from that.
Let's
That was
reschedule
amazing.
this so I can process everything. yeah.
I feel like a rock star. What
I'm
the fuck
trying
is
to
happening?
retire and get on
Love
at Kill
Love
Tony. So that the jump, like, I'm trying to be like Red Band's apprentice. If anybody who works on Kill Tony's listening to Blake's Buzz.
Right.
Buzz, babies.
I'm doing great though.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to give me your con table pitch, or one of you, like someone stumbles across, sees these gorgeous covers and variants and art, and I'm sure one of you's got like a great pull down banner behind the booth or something, and they're, what is a necromancy? What is this? Looks cool. What is this about? Hit me with that table pitch, y'all. Let me know what
This
this
is about a young girl who stumbles into the wild world of necromancy with her best friend and pet lizard Bibbits. And they uncover an ancient secret. And now they have to learn to raise the dead to save the world.
Hell yeah. You want to know something? Oh, wow. I clicked the wrong button.
Yeah,
I was like,
share
you want to know
that.
what's crazy?
I'd love to know something.
Your backer count from issue 1 is the same as it is right now. And that's because I'm looking at the live
right one.
campaign right
Damn,
now.
people were spending way more per pledge on that.
I'm trying. All right. I'm trying to go. So you had 300, just shy of 350 backers the first time.
Yeah.
So 347. Wow. All right. What was that first campaign like? And like the cert, like, cause what is it like? Did you have like a big launch, or was it? Because Kickstarter's weird, right? You remember, like some people like launch, go to the bathroom, fart, and when they come out, it's funded. Like, good for you.
Yeah,
like,
right.
way to go, bro. But
Not
like
us.
other people have to like hustle, right? Talk to weirdos like me, get the word out.
Yeah, the first issue is honestly is almost a direct reflection of this issue. Our current campaign required a little bit more funding to get it made, but percentage wise, like, we've made almost the exact same on a day-to-day basis from the first campaign. Like, the first few days we made roughly 32%, I think, on the first one. Did the same thing this time. Around the 50% mark, we were around 50% funded, just like this time. But like, I don't know, I'm still very nervous, because like, it's always tough you don't want to have to rely on the last few days, like the bump right at the very end, because every Kickstarter campaign, right, you get the immediate peak, and then you get the valley of death, and then you get the spike again at the end, and like, it's just not healthy
Not for us.
to hold that kind of anxiety, waiting for that last bump and praying that it's going to pull you through.
Yeah, because even like the last few days, I think it really slowed down until today. I guess we got a decent amount today, I think.
Yeah, we got a nice little spike today. It felt good.
Oh yeah, I think I shared a post from one of you. I'll take credit for that.
Yeah, hey, bro.
Take it. Yeah,
I'll give it to you.
we changed the image too. We changed the campaign
Banner
image.
logo.
That is a smart deal. And also, like, Dylan, I really like Dylan's approach to his social media presence for this campaign. Like,
Thank God. I thought I was just bugging the hell out of everybody.
no, dude, I love, like, hey, here's this cute dog. I got this Kickstarter go. I like silly stuff, because you know what? It's not, and I do it. I did it with I was excited about Monster Matador's premiere today, right? But I
Yeah.
noticed it like it's like I'm making these tweets and I make a good looking graphic, but I'm still like the epic finale, and I'm like everybody says the same shit, Blake, and I'm like God damn it, you know, and you do, and you are not doing that at all. You're just like you're like old school social media posting kind of, right? Like, you know, like here's this plate of nachos. You know, I got this Kickstarter going. I fucking love it, dude. It's
Fuck yeah.
where did
Thanks, man.
were you just like, did this spawn out of like, well, I'm out of ideas, or was this like a strategic like I'm going full on like e-blogger
Yeah, that
on
was
marketing?
We're
yeah,
MySpacing this shit.
yeah, I'm just so hyper savvy with social media that I'm just ahead of the game. No, that was born from me being an absolute Luddite in social media context. Like I'm bad. Like Jason and Luca and I always joke that like I'm bad at Instagram. I'm real bad at it. I don't know how to format anything. I don't know how to post stuff well. Jason just the other day taught me that I can put a link in my story that people can click on. I was like, oh no shit, that's crazy.
I should
Um,
have been doing it the whole time.
I know, yeah.
You
But
can also cover it with a button that you can make in like
yeah,
Photoshop, and it
it's
looks like you can
wild.
click on the button.
What a time to be
Put
alive.
music on there, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
bait.
the pet thing actually ties in really well to because like everybody loves pets.
Yeah.
And like you're right, that's an old school social media, posting strategy to get interactions and for people to just love the stuff that you post. But like one of the things that is central in My Neighbor Necromancer are the pets, like are the familiars, right? Cyrano's got his pet spider Sukax. Jesse's got her pet lizard Bibbits. Aleth is the pet raven of the main protagonist. Like everybody's got a pet, and we want everybody to love those pets, right? And now we've got Gavin in the second
Oh.
issue, who's an undead cat.
Oh,
And so like, and they're all helpful in their own ways, and like everybody loves pets. Everybody loves pets who help, and that's great. And we want to sort of advertise that relationship and just the cute, fun pet aspect of our spooky necromancy story.
I did not
Yeah.
read that way. Oh my god! Because
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys, because I didn't pick up that the tarantula was a familiar.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of slipped. I did not slip. But I thought, because I was like, it bites him, and I was thinking like the bite in the venom, right? Or it
Mhm.
maybe it doesn't bite him. Maybe I did. Maybe or there's a part where he like when he calls him out, and it almost looks like he like when he gets like bit. I thought he got like bit by the tarantula and essentially got like the too much responsibility powers, right? But different, and then but magic, and then like
Yeah. No,
and
you're
then
right.
that goes down, right? And then I also really liked it. So Rakus, right? So
Yep.
she does like a popper like before she like honestly like her as a child like chasing a lizard into the woods, getting lost, and the fear of that like could make a cool graphic novel. Okay. Adding necromancy and a wild magical adventure like on top of that, totally metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like wow, like there's this weird that's this core, right? This like warm, nostalgic us as children yearning adventure and loving our pets core, and then this other weird like drugs and magic, and I was like, what? Where is the tie? And there isn't one. I am just a degenerate and read that
It's your
totally
bias.
differently.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so the Sukax one where Sukax does bite Cyrano's hand, and we purposely don't explain it fully in the first issue. You're supposed to be kind of just like, what the hell's going on? Like, why? What is this? And then early in the second issue, we'll sort of explain a little bit more about how the first lesson of every necromancer is that they're taught how to raise an undead familiar, because every necromancer's familiar will grant them some aid, either a new magical ability, or a new skill, or like the familiar will just be helpful in some unique way. And you will learn sort of like that's what the bite is for Cyrano. And Rackus, spoilers, Rackus is the Aleth, she can see whatever Aleth sees. So Aleth works as kind of like a drone, and she can sort of use him for surveillance and stuff like that. And then the one that Bibbits does is sort of part of the adventure, and we'll find out about that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Bibbits. There's man. So this was the first I got to like read the full issue this time. Because when the last time we talked, I got a cool preview of the magical battle. And that was a chunk of what you guys used on the Kickstarter page too, and it was gorgeous. But like, wow, just the opening scene of like the house and the room and the mom, and then how it just changes and it opens up so wide, right? Like as soon as she like runs out the door chasing after Bibbits. And dude, Jason, you're a monster. You really are, man. You are a beast. I mean, Luca, I've been a fan of your colors for such a long time, you know. And you bring out some really great elements of like Jason's line work. But like this comic is so damn beautiful. It's like, it's gotta be like, does it aggravate you to be like probably one of the prettier books on Kickstarter and still like, why aren't we funding in 24 hours? Like, I mean, you've got one of the most beautiful books on Kickstarter. I mean, and like the story's great too, right? It's not like it's not like, you know, Dylan, oh God, like
Yeah, we're dragging him.
Like, have you guys thought about an editor? No, I'm just kidding.
We have an editor now.
Yeah, we actually have an editor right now.
Yeah, Michelle.
Oh, nice.
Shout
And that was a huge, that was a joke.
Michelle
I'm not,
yeah.
I love the story. You got me because I killed a lizard, not like on purpose, but I adopted a chameleon. I think the chameleon was sick when we got it, but I couldn't ever keep the humidity right. And we had problems with the lights and the temp and the tree. Like I tried to give her like a real tree and we had to like kind of trim the tree to get her to get it to fit in the enclosure. And like, we couldn't keep the goddamn tree alive. And I was like, oh my God, the tree's dying, the lizard's dying, you know? And it was like, she like fell out of the tree and I couldn't afford to take her to like the exotic pet vet. Right. I was like, oh my God, we don't have that kind of, you know, like we don't have that kind of money. So I was like, never, it was like it was cool. But I was like, never again. So there was like, there was a lot of guilt there, but yeah, you brought that boiling to the surface. Cause they're cool pets, you know, and you don't realize like, they do sometimes act like weird little dogs and cats. They do have, people say they don't have personalities and that it's that lizard brain. And when they snuggle, it's for warmth and it's because you have a warm body or they know where food and whatever, maybe, but they do have, they act different and different breeds of different lizards act different, just like dogs and cats and people do. Right. You know, like, so there's a complexity there that I think is silly. People don't acknowledge, but anyways,
Jason, on that point, Jason actually brought that to my attention when we made Bibbits a lizard, when we decided that the love of Jesse's life and her best friend in the whole world was going to be this little flying lizard. He messaged me and he's like, yo, these things are really hard to take care of. Like she's like 8 years old. Like how is she doing this? And that sort of informed a lot of her character and tells you how much she actually loves this pet, this lizard. Is that flying lizards in particular are apparently extremely hard to take care of, like almost impossible. And so we've got this big poster in our room, and we've got Jason added a detail on her bookshelf, this big book of lizards. And so like she loves lizards because she loves Bibbits and will do anything to keep him alive and will do anything for him. And so that really informed a lot of what happens between Jesse and Bibbits and just sort of how she acts in general.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because there are a lot. I used to get crickets shipped UPS. Like I would buy 1,000 crickets at a time. And I had like a little enclosure for crickets. But yeah, and then you got to keep those little shits alive too. And it's just like, it's a lot of work.
It's the circle of life.
But there was so many good moments, like when Bibbits gets out, when we see like the tear in the screen, and then the chase into the woods, and then what happens later, and the extremely magnificently paced conclusion of issue 1, and when she's like digging through the leaves, and it's like other parts of the story are happening, interrupt that moment where she's digging through the leaves, right? And it's like I haven't had a moment like that in a while, fellas, where I'm like, oh, where's she at? Like, we gotta get back to Jesse. We got you right, like, I don't care about these wizards. I don't care. It was breathtaking. It was, it stressed me out. And then when I got there, it made that moment hit even harder. Really great emotional beats that this whole team, you all did a really great job. And I hope you, like, how long have your backers had this? When did the final issue get like digital and all that get sent out?
Not terribly long ago.
Okay.
So yeah, the first issue regrettably took a little bit longer to get out, a lot bit longer to get out than we expected. And so we didn't actually get books sent out until, I want to say, less than a month before we launched issue 2.
Yeah.
Which I hate that we had to do that, but that was the way it had to be. But I also wonder if, kind of hope that would work in our favor a little bit, like that the book is now fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
We if we could have, we would have gotten to you faster. But like, I'm also kind of, I don't know. I hope that it's still fresh. I hope that those emotions are still at the surface, and you want to see what happens to Jesse next and Bibbits and see how things happen.
How is the Kickstarter community online? Because I'm bad at this. I'm bad. I used to be really good about, like, every Amazon package I got, every book, anything I got at the comic book shop, anything I ever got in the mail, I took a picture of, right? And then you get like busy, and then I get a lot more stuff in the mail than I used to.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky, and I get stuff sent to me sometimes too, and it's just like, I found, I'm moving studios, and I found I have like unopened, and I'm like, shit, I don't even know what these are, and I'm like, I have packages that, like, I forgot to open. So it's like,
Yeah.
shit. But how is it, like, how are your backers, or is it being received? Are people like reaching out to you, retweeting it, like talking about it? Like, because like I was hyped in this intro for a reason. Like, I love this. It's a very good book. Are your backers like sharing the same sentiment? Are you getting some good feedback? People talking about it?
Never enough.
Yeah, never enough. Yeah, no, there's I've seen a few people from our first issue like singing its praises on Facebook and on Twitter and stuff like that. We always ask for more though. Like, they're what's carrying the campaign. They're the legs, they're the wind beneath the campaign's wings, if you will.
Bibbit's wings.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I've gotten a couple joke angry messages from backers like, "How dare you do that to Bibbits?" It's like sorry, like, spoilers,
Deservedly so, I would add.
Yeah, spoilers. Necromancy's in the title.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, it hurt, but I was like, after I was like, but okay,
Yeah.
I was like, all right. That last line of the first issue is very cool. You have a very cool cast of characters, which makes sense because the creators. I mean, you guys are all. This is the second time I got to chat with you, Luca. I've talked to you several times now, and I've got to know you guys over the years, and it's like, it's weird you say that now, right? It's like, we've got to know each other over the years.
We're friends. We've been together a long time.
It's like, nah, I'm like, it's like, feels like forever.
Yeah.
But it's you guys are cool guys, so it makes sense that you come up with cool people. But everybody, I want to know more about, right? Like Jesse, we get a lot of Jesse, and not enough. Like, I want more from, I want to know more about her, but you did a really good job. Like, the little things, like with the books and how she acts, and her excitement, and how she just doesn't bat an eye. She's just she just tucks her head down and runs runs into it. Doesn't matter what it is. And I love that about her, because I wish I could like turn a click off every now and then and just run at something and be like really fuck around and find out, right? Like you hear tell of that philosophy, but like to really undergo
actually do it.
that's a lot. That's a lot. And she does that, that's this whole deal is that. And like if I found a weird house in the woods, I wouldn't be like, this is the lizard here. Like, sorry. I love my dogs. I ran into a burning building to try and save someone else's dog one time. So I would go into a haunted house for my dogs, but for a lizard, I don't know, and again, that's to love even a lizard, to even an animal such as a lizard. Right. And then we look at, Sereno and his and he's got this terrifying spider, this is that like hides in his clothes and it comes out, it's like, okay, buddy, but and now that I know, that these are familiars, like that's an intense bond. And so these are, that is going to be like a bond that you feel with like a cat that you grew up with, or a puppy that you raised, and he's going to feel that. So yeah, to have the love of that, even a raven is mystical and beautiful, and they fly and they soar, and they're birds and they have there's like even though they're kind of crows and they're gross, and it's just like they have like diseases and they're nasty too, but there's a mysticism about things of flight,
sir.
But it's just like, it's interesting that like there's like this the evil person has like this bird, and then the good guys have like a spider and a lizard, and it's like, all right, I like this. Where did the inspiration come from for the familiars? Like, the character building is one thing, but you get these cool characters, you get this idea, and then you got to pair them with animals, right? And then you kind of have to think about what'll look cool on the page. You got to think about, like, is Jason going to murder me if I make him draw this for however many pages he's going to have to draw this? How many tones can Luca put on a lizard to show emotion? Let's find out. I'm excited. I bet there's a lot, but like, where did that process come from to pick these animals and pair them with their necromancers?
I think when Jason and I first started talking about it, the pet was going to be a dog. At least in the very early stages of My Neighborhood Necromancer, it was going to be a dog. And then we just thought, like, dogs are, I don't know. Dogs
what you say right now, Dylan.
Boring.
No, it's not boring. But to dogs' credit, they're too easy. They're like, everybody loves dogs. Like, it's almost like
Gonna be aggressive, circling aggro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Spark controversy. Come at me.
Well, like I remember in the horror writer community, like, there are people who sort of scoff at the low-hanging fruit, where, like, if you make something, like, if you put a kid in danger, like, that's a really cheap trick to make your audience afraid or feel emotion, right? And so it's considered more respectable if you put someone more adept in charge or whatever. But that was I feel like that was kind of the impetus for changing the dog things. Like, putting a dog in danger is like, well, also nobody wants to see a dead dog. Like, that's tough. Like, I don't want that. And I think it might have been Jason who had the thought for the lizard. I
don't think it was, but thank you. I'll take it. But I don't think it was my idea.
you and I talk so much about the story. Whose idea is what gets very mixed up.
That's true. It's all kind of in a blender at this point.
Yeah, Jason's co-creator on the book for a reason. Like, a lot of the story wouldn't exist in the way that it does without his input and stuff. So, but yeah, we knew that we wanted the pet for Jesse to be something small and adorable, but like not something typical like a dog. And also, like, a lot of people have a dog. Like, if you know somebody who owns a dog, like, that's just a dude, or that's just some gal that you know down the street or whatever. Like, if you know somebody who owns a lizard, like, that person's got that, like, that person, and when you see that person, you're like, that woman owns a lizard, and that's cool as shit. And so, like, Jesse, we thought it would be like a cool character trait almost, like, to make Jesse have a lizard.
Yeah.
And then Sukex, I don't recall why we had Sukex do the spider. We just wanted him to be something that was atypical, something that you wouldn't normally associate with like a friendly person, or like not a friendly person, but like a friendly animal, right? Spiders are supposed to be scary, like sort of go against type. Whereas like if you see a spider, you think danger, but Cyrano has the spider, and he's actually very kind and friendly. And we'll see later on in issue 2 that Sukax himself is kind of acts more like a cat. Like he's pushing stuff off his shelves, and he's kind of being.
Are you gonna turn him into like those cute jumping spider videos? You guys know what I'm talking about? And they put the voices on them, and they're like,
yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think
Not
I don't think
far.
Sukax will ever talk properly.
okay, that's cool though. I like that. But you're gonna like, not. I was gonna say normalize him, but you're gonna like, take some of the softer edges off, right? You know, like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
make it. Yeah, that's cool.
Which
Okay.
again speaks. I feel like I'm talking so much, and I feel like I want Jason to talk more. And I'll promise I'll shut up soon. But yeah, part of the theme or the purpose of My Neighbor Necromancer is, well, primarily we wanted to make a kick-ass book about death wizards. So that was number one accomplished. I think we got
First of
that.
all, also Death Wizards is way cooler than Necromancer.
Hell,
I would use
I
that.
swear, I swear, you got Luca and Jason. I don't think you can search chat on Twitter. But like I think back when we were talking a lot in a group chat on Twitter, I think I thought about calling the book Death Wizards, but
Very
we
cool.
moved away from it anyway.
We went through
A
bit of
lot.
so many
iterations.
titles.
Yeah.
We were like going back and forth on so many different options.
But yeah, one of the to speak to sort of softening the edges of these really harsh concepts and these really scary things, like that's sort of what My Neighbor Necromancer is about, is like the concept of death to anyone, particularly a child, is a really thorny subject and is very, very difficult to navigate and even think about. And so we're trying to navigate those waters in an exciting way, in a way that doesn't nullify the concept of death. It doesn't make it kids play. Like it addresses it with all the seriousness that it deserves, but also tries to make it an easier pill to swallow. Something that like this is why death is important. This is why you need to avoid it. This is why it's bad. But this is also why you need to respect it, and like why it's I don't know, why even the concept of death itself deserves some love.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Wow. So how hard is it, Jason and Luca? Because one thing I noticed about the animals that we see so far in this first issue is they are very extremely lifelike. I mean, Jason, your art it's not like I wouldn't say like photorealistic, but very human, right? And it's not you don't like. You don't exaggerate a lot of features. It's very grounded. It's very beautiful. It's but it's just it's not. I don't want to say something and offend you, because that's not what I'm trying to do.
Look, I mean, I'm always very curious to know how people see my work, because honestly, I look at it so much that a lot of times I can't. I'm just like it looks generic to me a lot of the time. So I'm always open to hearing what people think about it.
Never generic, but very much you are very grounded in realism. I'll say that.
Yeah,
and we really see that in the details of like the spider. It's creepy, it's big, and it's nasty, and I would not want it to bite me. I would not want it in my clothes. I don't care if it's a cute little cat later and knocking things off the shelves. I don't want it in my sleeve. Okay. Maybe he'll grow on me, but what is it like to, in that first issue, when you draw these, and they are mean, and they're natural, and they look like they're supposed to, right? And they don't act like a friendly cat. They act like a magical beast that bit this dude and gave him magical power, right? Like it came to fight. And
I mean, so it's like, it's a little difficult, I think. Like I have a pretty good handle on like human anatomy, or anything that's like semi-human. Bibbits is even kind of, obviously not human anatomy, but it is, essentially arms, legs, and then a tail, right? So the proportions are a little bit different, but I can use some of the same shortcuts or tricks that I have for people. with Bibbits. But Sukax, the spider, I'm not used to drawing that many legs on something, and like sometimes it's very hard. I have to like look at a lot of reference photos, and I have to like watch videos on how they move and stuff, because it's hard to know how to pose them sometimes. And then even with Alath the raven, it's like a similar thing, because like ravens have, like, birds in general have kind of like weird anatomy. Like I was looking at like a skeleton to sort of like get the general idea, and it's like their legs like kind of go up
in their
like
body.
yeah, it's weird. It's like they have like two knees or something. Like
Yeah.
it was very confusing. So then I just have to eventually like just rely on like shapes that look good and try to make it fit. But yeah, it's challenging to
That's one thing.
those the animals are the challenging part. I would say that and the skeletons, like having to draw all the skeletons.
There's going to be a lot more, so I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm getting used to that. That's at least kind of like people. So I'm
Yeah,
getting used to
kinda.
that.
It's a lot of extra parts.
Right,
Yeah.
A lot less obscured than it's harder to cheat.
How do you go from like to kind of with your palette and kind of controlling, because I see that there were some moments in like the initial Bibbit's escape when we like see him like fleeing in the forest, and it's very like bright and green and warm, and you're like, and it's comfy, right? You're not nervous yet. You're like hell yeah, man, this lizard's going for it. He's and it's like
Yeah.
he's like, you go, Bibbits, like, you little rascal, and it's like but
little
it was like
scamp.
that was the tone, and it was very much controlled by both of you, right? And like, but then it's crazy because the action scenes come in, and that tone has to change. And then not only does it change magical effects, is this series letting you try some new stuff that like getting to play around with color in ways that, like, are you being weird? Are you being weird and it's
I
paying
am
off
being
hardcore?
weird, yes. I'm being weird for what I'm used to mostly, because as you well know, my last, well, it's 4 years or so, I've been spent almost exclusively on realistic stuff. And the only exception has been my Binary Sea that I did with Jason, which has a bit of fantastical coming in the later off. But it's mostly been real lightning with real shadows and no fancy stuff. Having to go back and put in some special effects has been a bit of a challenge, because I am not used to it anymore, and I've never been really good at it either, I think. So
Disagree.
Yeah, that first
I think you're doing a
issue
great job
looks
right
real
now.
good.
So
I try.
Like,
tried.
I think it, like, yeah, the green, just, yeah, they look like they glow. And I mean, I'm reading on a good tablet too, right? So like the screen's
Yeah, that
spoiling
helps.
me a little, but still, like, I mean, it also will show you bad color real good, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're like that shade does not work right now, like you'll really see it. And so
There
yeah,
is a real danger when you manage colors to overdo saturations and tones.
yeah.
And the advantage of working on so much realistic stuff was that muted palettes were practically necessary for a realistic rendering of what our reality looks like. And it's not like it goes a bit with the. There is a factor I've been talking about with friends, that there is a misconception in your brain of what things look like. For example, the tree bark is not green, it's not brown. It's actually more gray. But if I start coloring it brown, if for my brain is correct, my eyes is telling me no. And all these things together trying to, how would you properly explain it? They risk to become a hodgepodge of colors that do not mesh well enough together. And if you add special effects to that mix, it becomes unreadable. So there is a concerted effort, and not only in the line art first and foremost, and then with my colors, to make these action scenes feel like not feel like realistic, but readable most of all. You have to be able to understand what's going on, what's important in that moment, so that, you don't get lost. There is a timing in the narrative that is visual as much as is in the written letter, and that's pretty much most of what I do actually. Just trying to make the reading flow properly and be enjoyable as you would be watching a movie instead of spending a long time on the single panel. You need to keep the narration flowing, keep the pace going.
How do you know? Because it's in. I'm learning. I just
I
learned
don't.
my
I
new
pretend.
camera. You pretend. I haven't messed with it yet, but they can. My camera does like log footage, and it looks like shit. It looks like dog shit. But then you can go in post production and mess with the color, right, and ramp up the saturation, make it, or make it look like it was filmed in the '80s, or kind of play around with it. But that's the I've read the same thing about it. It's like there's a point of no return, right? Because you'll push it, and then you'll ruin it. And you and it's like an instantaneous ruin. It's not like it's not like easy fix or whatever. It's like it's done now, or you got to you kind of got to go back to the previous base or so.
Luckily, I built up in the years a working process that's very non-destructive, so I can always backtrack as much as I need. But my problem is actually on the other side. I do not push enough, and that's something I have been trying to correct without over-correcting. Finding the right spot is kind of difficult for me, and I tend to not do enough. That's why special effects have been always a challenge for me, because my brain works really closely to what reality looks like, and I do not go enough on this is an art medium, I can push boundaries, because my brain keeps pulling me back to, oh yeah, but this doesn't look real, but it doesn't need to. It can be exciting. So it's the struggle. It's still there. I'm not going through it very well sometimes, but I try. Hopefully it works, and so far you've been telling me it did. So I'm grateful.
I think
100%
I think
works.
that constraint does play a good part. I can also, just because of how long you were in Nottingham. Also, congratulations, because that is officially like you are. That wrapped the epic saga that you all worked so hard on and did so great on. But that was a very dark, gritty. It wasn't bright, it was, there was blood and fire sometimes, right? But that was about it. This, but I think maybe that constraint where you're like, you even when it gets super mystical, but you're like, I have to make it look a little bit, I have to make sure it still looks real in a way, right? That with Jason's inherent realism, I think that's why these pages, that I think the everything's working, right? I think that's why the sauce is cooking so damn good, is because of those elements. So I mean, I don't want to tell you not to, I would never tell you ever not to push yourself, of course, but I think that inner struggle is working really well on the page. So keep battling yourself, bro.
You're suffering well.
Yeah. Keep sweating. Keep sweating
those demons, Luca.
Yeah, you mentioned and now that you mentioned, Nottingham is a good example of where I could have pushed too much on realism. And I made a conscious choice to make every single drop of blood in the whole arc of the main series of Nottingham just a flat red, which is always the same flat red, and the color depends on obviously the local lighting on the ambientation, but it's always flat red. I have spent so many hours watching actual gruesome scenes for when I did the horror movie, and that's something that Jason mentioned. That's something maybe people maybe don't think about. Artists do look up so much shit, so many references, which is sometimes stuff you do not wish to be looking at. But
Yep.
it does help with the final result, and that's part of the job. We accept it. So if I think sincerely, if I over-rendered, if I made the blood realistic in Nottingham, would have had a terrible impact on the flow and the final look of the comics. And that's the same thought process I'm using on Nottingham, finding what's enough to look fantastical without taking away from the line art. Because as you correctly mentioned, Jason is really good with with portraying a proper anatomy and making it not look like too cartoonish to Disney, so to say. So there is a necessity for the colors to match that amount. If I go too far on one way or the other, it does not respect the line art and it doesn't work so much. I'm speaking so much, my man.
No, I love it because I don't, you know, we went through on lettering day. Also asked Christian about that when I asked him for a whole bunch of edits on lettering day, and then I was like, oh, happy lettering day, but we're still working. Sorry,
sorry,
but,
Doko.
But on lettering day, that kind of opened up a deal of, cause I think it's a bummer that letters don't get on the cover of comics. They do a lot of work, and again, Jason, I know a lot more about lettering than I did when we last talked. And even then, I always tried to respect letters and respect the craft. And man, the lettering in here is it's so good. I love when you do like the magical effects and the spells and stuff, like all of that. It's you guys are doing some really smart stuff that I can see the effort and see the extra time that it took. But I hope you know that like those little moments are paying off in big. I feel like they're paying off in big ways. They're just making everything just a little bit, every panel a little bit easier to fall into. Lucas said something interesting about how you always want people to like, you don't want them to sit too long in a panel, which is and of course you don't, right? You want them to finish the story, but also it's like, you know, you want to draw art that like, you of course you would want to like look at something you drew and people are like, like it stops them, you know, but you also want to control that pace, you know, and I love comics for that. Cause sometimes I have to reread stuff or like something real crazy will be happening and I'll cheat and I'll just like flip through to like visually see what happens and then go back and read the dialogue, or like I'll be reading the dialogue and captions too quickly in like a heated conversation and I won't pay attention to the art, and I think these are great problems, right? Because it's like you're so into it and then you have to kind of like hit the rewind button and fall into it in a different way, right? Comics are beautiful for that. But yeah, you guys you're very the synchronicity, is that a real word? Synchronicity?
I feel like creatively all of us gel pretty well. I think we all more or less have the same goal. Like it's been relatively frictionless as far as like bigger creative decisions. There's I think Dylan mentioned on another podcast we did that the first time that we really had any kind of a conflict was when we were trying to come up with a character design for Backstrom, which is a character in issue 2. And a lot of that it was like Dylan and I had to actually like have a whole conversation about like who is Backstrom to me and who is Backstrom to him based on what we know, and like kind of come to a middle ground of like, okay, I think we both understand why each of us was coming at this from a different direction. And I think that like in a project where there wasn't as much understanding and collaboration and trust, that could have gone a lot worse. And I think, like even with like edits, there's like, you know, I don't think any of us ever take
I hate you all, but I don't
right.
mention
Well, yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, Luca, I don't care what Luca thinks, but like in general, with Dylan and I, at least, but no, yeah. I mean, I think even with edits, like we're all pretty much like do what's best for the book, right? Like there's even like with the lettering, like you were mentioning the lettering, there's one part really early on in the first issue where Jesse jumps down the steps and she says like, I'm coming for you or something like that. And Dylan and I were trying to figure out for a while, like, how do you do that visually? Like, how do you have the trail? And I was like, I went through like, I don't know, I probably like that one thing I probably spent like at least an hour on, like trying to figure out how to like make that work and make it read correctly. Cause like you want it to be like what Luca was saying, like you want reading it to be effortless, right? Like the last thing you want as an artist or a writer or anything as a creator on a comic is to have somebody reading the comic and going, wait, what? And like having to like flip back, right? Like you never want that. I mean, even in movies, like you never want to be like, wait, what just happened? And like have to go back. So like my goal always, like with every project that I do, is to make sure that everything works. Like you don't even have to think about it. Like if you can read one of the things that I like, one of my pages, I want you to be able to read it as fluidly as possible. And Luca accentuates that with the colors, and Dylan helps with, you know, the pacing and dialogue and like the way the script is done. And it just, that's the ultimate goal, at least for me. Like readability is paramount to everything. So
Yeah, I on a number of occasions I've heard you talk about um how where this panel leads the eye. And so to go back to what Blake was saying earlier, that you don't want people to linger on a panel for too long, even though the art in some ways demands it because of how detailed and gorgeous it is. Like people want to spend time on these panels and just stare at them because they're gorgeous. But the goal, and I think what you accomplish really well, is that you start a panel like you're starting on a fresh new page. You start on the upper left, and then the first thing you see on the upper left of the panel is something that leads you towards a farther part of the panel, leads you towards the middle of the panel, and then it leads you towards the edge of the panel, and then there's some object there that naturally guides your eye to the next panel, right? And so every panel you see, you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then it just
right.
like you just keep having these
It's like a
these
trick.
moments.
It's like
That's
sensory.
great event.
Yeah. So
Right.
like, yeah, go ahead.
No. That's exactly. I mean, I'm glad that's happening because I'm trying.
That's the idea.
That's why it takes
We're
me so
trying
long.
for.
That's why it takes me so long to do all of them.
It's
yeah.
not yeah, the everything in the panel looks great. But instead of it being like I don't know, a slow zone where like you're like or a scenic view, it's like a jet booster on your car. Like instead of like making you stop and slow down and take in the scenery, it just jets you through it, and you're just
Right.
like, oh, look at all the like you just
Unless we're trying to slow it down, like the cabin shot
right, exactly,
is like
yeah,
a good example of like, I want you to stop there for a second.
yes,
And like I think there's like you don't want to, there's a balance between like, especially when you're making something like what I'm doing where I'm putting arguably maybe too much detail into stuff. Like you you run the risk of like not exactly knowing where to, like when to stop, like what's enough, right? Like and you want to be able to like have control, like have a generalized control over like, is this going to make people pause? Is this going to make people you know, rush through it? Like even with the fight scenes, like there's 12 panels on one of the fight scene pages, right?
I did not write all 12.
Yeah, that was my fault. I did that to myself, but I did it. But I remember what I
want
was
people
gonna
to know
say.
that I'm not.
That's why I
I'm not,
hate Jason.
Yeah. I'm not. I
Right,
don't
yeah, I'm making it harder for everybody, including
no,
myself.
No. You're making it hard for yourself.
But
You're
no,
making
like
it great on everybody.
you don't want to like you don't want to show off, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean you can sometimes, but like the goal should never be like, look at what I can draw. It should be like, is this going to help the story work or is it not going to help the story? If showing off is going to hurt the story, then don't show off, right? And like, I think even with Dylan, like that's true. Like Dylan is very good with dialogue, but also very sparse. Like there's nothing in that in those scripts that doesn't need to be there in terms of dialogue. And similarly with Luca, like there's nothing in the colors that doesn't need to be there. We had a whole discussion about rendering at one point, and it's everything is like
the comic started was way more rendered.
Yeah,
we toned it down a lot.
Yeah, and it's because
and it's better.
Yeah,
better
it
now.
doesn't because it doesn't. You don't.
You didn't need to.
Right, it doesn't need to be there, and so I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that exactly.
Oh, you were going the right direction.
Okay.
But
I was leading myself somewhere. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I think I always want the first read through to be like you kind of want to linger on it, but you're like what Dylan was saying, you're just kind of led through it, and then at the end you're like, I'll go back. Right. I'll look. It's like when you rewatch like one of your favorite movies, or like I have a bunch of comics that I will constantly look back at. Right. And just be like, oh, that's a really good sequence. Right. So I hope that we are making some of that impact on people.
What is a couple comics like you, whether to find inspiration or big battle elements or something like what are some of those that you go back to every now and then to get what you need?
I look at a lot of I've probably looked at like Hellboy stuff a lot. Like I don't have all of them, but I look at a lot of Hellboy because I feel like Mignola is very he's just I mean like I don't need to say anything.
He's definitely similar vibes from with what y'all are doing. Like
is absurd because he's so deceptively simple.
Yeah,
the colors are so minimal but so good. What
the
fuck? How do you do that? I cannot do that for the life of me.
There's certain like
I don't know.
There's one I have like the Hellboy Batman one. There's one panel in that where it has like Hellboy and Batman jumping off a building or something, and I spent the time to like actually look at it. I'm like, that is just it's just an abstract shape. Like both of them are somehow reading as what they should, but they are just abstract shapes. So I look at that a lot. I look at what else do I have on there? I'm looking at my shelf. Oh, I look at a lot of like Batman Year One for stuff because I feel like
the new artist edition.
I have not gotten that yet, but it looks really good.
So good.
I still can't. Every time someone posts a picture of how big it is, I'm just like,
he was. Yeah. I forget. Somebody posted on Twitter that Mazzucchelli. I don't know how you say it, but he was like 24 or 25 when he did that or something. And that just, if that's true, if I'm not getting that wrong,
that's not
God
good,
damn, like, come on, man. That's not fair.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I was like, come on, at least be like 32 or something. But yeah, so those, and then I've, like, it, whatever kind of hits, whatever I'm kind of looking at the moment. But those, I look at a lot of those types of things. I look at like Hush sometimes. Because I feel like there's Jim Lee's action sequences in that are pretty good. I know people don't love Hush. He has I remember that was like the first time that I saw those like multi-figure like action scenes that are almost like he's doing some kind of version of that proto animation thing where you like have the thing like in a crank and it's like he's like shows that there's like the one thing of like Catwoman like doing or Harley like doing like like leaps over stuff, and it's just crazy. So yeah, that's some of the stuff that I look at.
Well, yeah, I like how you went 3 Bat titles and Hellboy, and the Hellboy title was also including Batman.
Oh man, that is a little bit predictable, isn't it?
No, I love it. I
wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah,
I love Batman so much. Like I think it should be Dick and Damien as Batman and Robin.
I read other things. I promise.
I swear.
I'm not a poser.
That's that one scene from year one though. Like the you've gotten full off golf. You know, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that. Oh, let's see. And then they did, and then in what is in Rom's Catwoman? Didn't they kind of like recreate that or do? I mean, a lot of
maybe.
people have done homages to that scene,
Yeah.
but I think Rom did that with Catwoman, and it
Mhm.
landed real good. But yeah, that's a good those are good places to go. I feel like Jason, I feel like you should treat yourself. Get one of those books before they sell out. Like they may already be sold out. I don't even
I
know.
feel like I might have missed my shot on
Yeah.
that. But
Who needs eating, bro?
Someone posted that the new edition is really cool, but they were like they advised getting the absolute edition because it's not as big, but it's still oversized, and you get the
Right.
colors. And because their argument,
I think
was
I
that,
saw
like,
that also. I think I saw that same post.
Yeah, it was
Or
a-
tweet or
it
whatever.
was, and I really like the artist who said it. Dave Chisholm, like, and he knows his way around a doodle too. But you know, like, but I thought that was cool because it was like, you know, just, you know, standing up for color. You know, like we mentioned, like sometimes you gotta remind people that it's not just the writer, right? Like, you know, like there's the artist, there's the letter,
Yeah.
there's the editor, you know, you got a production team. You know, you guys had a great logo that Tim Daniel made, you know,
Yes.
or Second Rocket made. I just had them on the show a couple weeks ago. Great. I finally got to chat with him. He's such good people.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
great.
And so I mean, yeah, you know, there's a lot of elements go into making a great book, and not everybody can be on the cover. I get that, but you know, it's things are important. But yeah, I would I don't know. You're
Four
worth it.
names
You're
can
worth it,
stick there.
Jason. Hunt it down. Pay the eBay tax. Who cares? Oh, do you got kids or anything? You got?
No.
Oh, fuck yeah! Let's go.
Fuck you! What are you?
Yuck.
So that's
How
what I
dare
keep,
you, sir?
In this economy?
I almost
Man,
right?
that's I'm not like disgusted by children, but no, I don't.
Well,
No, I think I have roommates currently.
Oh, they count as, yeah, sure.
It's not
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really
They're
kids.
children.
Yeah.
sometimes. They're-
I have
Yeah,
a-
so yeah, but
yeah.
I'm just if you buy a $200 book, it's not going to be like, well, sorry, kids, we're eating mac and cheese for 2 weeks.
We'll see how well we do. Dylan and I do at Baltimore Comic Con, which is coming up this
I
week.
thought you were about to say, "Let's see how well we do on the Kickstarter," and I was going to be like, "All right, everybody,
That's
get
not gonna
down
be
to
enough.
Kickstarter. We
No,
need to
yeah.
get these guys an artist edition."
Oh, no, yeah, that's what it is now. Yeah,
That too.
you
I
go to
mean, yeah.
Kickstarter,
Make it,
Sure,
make
why
it a
not?
make it a stretch goal. If we overfund, Jason will
Yeah.
buy himself the artist edition of year
And I'll
one.
post a picture of it of me
Yeah.
holding it.
Our first stretch goal is that Jason will treat himself. To an
That's a great idea. I think
That's
we should definitely
hilarious.
do that.
yeah.
I'm actually for it.
Mm,
I
yeah.
think-
Can we have a second for we eat out? Just
Yeah.
this week we eat, not cooked
Yeah.
by us.
We're going to Olive Garden.
Hooray!
Oh, there we go. That's between that and those are the kind of stretch goals you need to pair with Dylan's social media,
Dogs,
like
yeah.
the,
Right.
the stuff like that. It all might just kind of work together.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like it's very much. I mean, though necromancy and the skulls and the skeletons and the death, right? It points like a horror-esque picture, but you're very much like pushing into fantasy. And if anybody who looks at the Kickstarter page, and I highly encourage you to do so because the new pages y'all are showing on the Kickstarter page are crazy, but there's this Tolkien-esque splash. It's like a map and there's spot like okay, that really impressed me. And it was so cool because already the story feels big, but that one page really like ramped up just kind of the scope of like what I was familiar with, right? Like this is a journey. It's like we've gone,
Yeah.
this is not just, you know, this isn't just issue 2, right? This like things are happening, right? And so yeah, I thought that page was so cool.
Yeah, that's one section of 4 pages of like that. We'll have one of those pages in the next 3 books as well. Though, so that she's gonna go different places in this land. Like she's not just gonna hang out at Cyrano's house and play Nintendo or whatever.
Right.
Right?
It's a
She's got
journey.
places to go. She's got things to do. She's got a
Like
world to
Rotendo.
save. She's got dead to raise and she's got worlds to save. And so yeah, so we yeah,
Can I have
that
it on a
that
T-shirt?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea.
That is,
I'm
yeah.
wearing, I'm
There's
wearing
a.
one of the shirts we got from the first
That's so
I
Kickstarter.
like the. I
Would
like
you,
the
yeah,
skirts.
you can get this shirt at the add-on store. We still have it available on the Kickstarter if you want one.
You guys are
Uh,
doing. Are you? It looks like you're selling these maps too, right? Posters of these.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So that map, what we're planning to do is have each map as a collectible hanging tapestry.
Oh.
And so yeah, so that map you see on the page, we've removed Jesse's circular panels, so you just get the landscape.
Mm.
We'll be selling those sections of map on this Kickstarter and the next 3 as these collectible set of 4 maps, and each one will reveal a little bit more different cool geographical aspects of the world and just kind of have cool new locations that you can check out.
Was that hard to design and get
Yes.
that looking cool?
Yes.
Because it looks really cool. Like,
Yeah.
Thank
it
you.
looks like you spent a lot of time working
It
on
took
it.
a lot of, yeah. So basically, initially, I think that page, Dylan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that initially that page was supposed to just be like a panel montage.
Yep.
And
right, yeah.
then because I want to always give myself more work to do, I was like, what if we made it like a map of some kind? Like that's
But if
eventually where
we
we
made
got
it
to.
awesome.
Well, because
Yeah.
I was thinking, because the thing that going back to pacing, yeah, made it awesome.
What if we make it awesome?
The pacing of having it be just a page where you see multiple panels, that we don't have that much of a page count, right? We have like 24, 26 pages. And I wanted that page to be one of those pages where you slow down, right? So that sequence of the travel actually feels like she's traveled. Whereas like if I just showed her like walking in the woods and like showed each one of those panels that's on that overlaid over the map, you'd read it faster. But having the map behind it makes you actually study it and be like, where'd she go? How'd she get there? Like what's happening? And I think that helps to make it feel, even though we're using the same amount of real estate in the book, it makes it feel like you're taking a little bit more time to read it.
Yeah.
Maps are actually, you guys know me. You know I'm a nerd,
Mm-hmm.
and maps
Yeah.
are something that triggers my fantasy so hard because you can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wonder what's there and what's there and what's there, and what
Yeah.
if I go there? What this place is?" There is so much potential, raw potential hidden
Yeah.
in so little space. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an art form that you excel. Like it's very cool. And I thought it looked great. I used to
Thanks.
when I was a kid, my buddy and I used to send self-addressed stamped envelopes and write letters to like amusement parks around the country and ask them to send us like park maps, and we would like collect the park maps, these like, and we would like dream of like going to these crazy amusement parks and think of like the roller coasters and stuff we were gonna ride, but it was just like I loved getting those. It was so weird, like getting those maps, and when I always wanted the like big souvenir map, like the $10 map from they're probably what $30-$40 at Six Flags now or whatever, but like they're very much akin to what you've drawn, cartoony figures on there, very like cartoony renditions of the rides and stuff, like just very. I love that shit. I always got a kick out of them. So yeah, I saw that page on the new Kickstarter page, and I just got fired up, man. It's like it's weird. This has happened to me a couple times recently in books I've read and had interviews with, and it's because it's like one thing when there's like a dog, and it's like, okay, like of course, like everybody knows I love dogs and I love my dogs, and when they're like it's very easy, like you mentioned earlier, it's an easy way out to to establish emotional appeal with that kind of animal that we're all used to, Oh shit, I'm pulling a Jason now. I forgot where I was going.
Oh,
Find the map. Find the map.
But oh shit. Oh well. But oh yeah. So but I've had some weird connections with some of the comment, like very intimate, like weird, not like sexually intimate connections, but just very like deep rooted nostalgic from like very specific from my child. And this was one of them, like the map, and then like the accidentally killing a lizard and still hating myself kind of for that, and that guilt, and that like, holy shit,
We're
I
glad
wish
you
I
suffered.
wish I could I wish I could bring that little bastard back and
Yeah,
feed him,
don't we all?
like and
If
have
you
a
have-
magical
if,
adventure.
If you have good pictures of him,
Mhm.
Jason
Yeah.
will draw him as a necromancer familiar. That's another one of the
Hey.
Kickstarter.
That's one of the
tiers.
we still have, I think we have
Yeah.
9 of those
Yeah, yeah.
left.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
My favorite tiers for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we've got we like I said, like the pets are a huge important aspect of the story. And so we wanted to give people a chance to, I don't know, to sort of be a part of that a little bit, and also like get a cool drawing of your pet. So if you back that tier, and send us a picture of your fur baby, your furry loved one, or your scaly loved one, your fanged loved one, or your feathery loved one, whatever, Jason will draw them in the style of a My Neighborhood Necromancer familiar. And like we originally wanted to do, the original idea was like, yeah, we'll draw them as an undead pet, and like because that's what the familiars are, is like they're animals that have been raised from the dead. But then we realized very quickly that there might be people that don't want to see their dog as like a rotted corpse, right?
Mhm.
Some people might. It might be like, I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But so you can also make them as you can tell us if you want them to be pristine and not look dead. Like Jason will do it.
The
We have,
sample on the page is great. Like there's some
yeah,
rotted flesh, but like the skeleton hand in his
yeah,
mouth, like it in the
yeah.
dog's mouth, like yeah, that's a cool.
It's a good.
I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. People that like original art, people that like sketches, whether it's digital, custom, cover sketch, or whatever, remarks. Kickstarter is such a great place to get sketches and artwork, and you can usually get them way cheaper than from an art dealer or from a eBay listing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Incredibly
You
cheap.
could also sometimes you get them even cheaper than from like the artist website, from buying custom shit from the artist website, just because a lot of times they're priced competitively to help fund the campaign, right? That's part of the reason why you're doing the tier. You don't want to be
Right.
like, not everybody's going to pay like $8,000 for a sketch of their dog, like, or Jim Lee's
That is
doing
what they're
dog
priced
sketches
at,
for
though.
20,000.
It says lower, but it is $8,000.
Yeah, it's an $8,000 tier. It's not.
It's a great Kickstarter is one of the best places to get art. And like, I mean, sometimes people go all out. And I mean, I got like an 11x17 commission from like Tony Gregori a while back. And that was
Nice.
like before he did like a Ninja Turtle issue. Now he's drawing Rick and Morty at Oni and stuff, and so it's like, I have a hard time seeing, like, once people start seeing Jason's artwork. I don't like, are you getting hit up like for,
I mean,
By girls, yeah.
yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, I still have Binary C. I'm still doing that. I mean, it's in production at the moment. And then yeah, I have a decent amount. The thing is, like, I have a decent amount of work that just a lot of people haven't seen, because it isn't like, it's not Kickstarted and it's not like published in a
Mhm.
traditional way. But yeah, I mean, I haven't had any more comic stuff that I've taken on recently.
Okay.
Because two books at the same time is enough at the moment.
Yeah, the way you draw, and just the amount of all that you put into like one panel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be, you'd have to be careful, like the amount of
Yeah,
projects you take
It's
on.
balancing is always, a
What is your time frame like a typical? I know you don't really have like a typical page in the necromancy book, but like let's say like a non-battle page, not a splash page, like like a Sunny Time Venturing page.
I mean,
under
would
7 panels. What's that taking you?
Under
I
7.
under 7, man. What a dream.
I need to
Uh,
reiterate
Auto-inflicted,
again.
so-
I'm
No,
not.
it's my fault.
making-
It's 100% my fault. It's 100% my fault. But no, I'd say like on a good, it takes me several days, to like, not several. That sounds like it usually takes me at least like 2 work days to do the pen. Like, takes me 1 to do pencils, 1 to do inks. Sometimes it takes me like another couple hours into the next day, depending on how complex it is. So generally speaking, on a great day, or a great time would be like if I can finish a page in like 12 hours total, that would be great. Most of the time, closer to 16 or 18. Sometimes if it's got 12 panels on it, it takes like 20 to 24.
Wow, I would
So-
not want to be your editor asking
Nope,
when you're
that's
going to have a page done.
yeah. I mean, look, I'm doing,
if I'm having a good day, Michelle.
Sorry in advance, Michelle.
it's mostly because I mean, that's like taking into account like the fact that I'm also lettering it, and then
Yeah,
I'm
well,
also,
it's some days,
so
some
it's-
days you won't be feeling it. Some days you
Right,
may have a headache.
yeah.
Something may happen. Life
Yeah,
happens.
so-
Life's an
right.
asshole. I don't know if anybody knew about that. Like,
Yeah.
like good days, life will be like, "Ha, sir,
Yeah.
you got a lot going on."
if I can get up, if I
Have
can
some
like
lemons.
actually get up early, if I manage to like get up by like 6, then I can, then I can get more done.
Sleep.
Yeah, same. If I got
Um,
up, if I
but
got,
yeah,
if
I
I got
mean-
up at 6, I'd get a lot
I-
done too. Jesus.
Yeah, I had a series that I worked on at one point. It was called Patriot Tales. I worked on it with Ryan Barr and Christian Patchell, and it was for the Valley Forge Tourism Board. And so it's like a 5-issue thing, and the last book that we did for that, issue 5, I was like, man, I finally cracked it. I'm like getting pages done. I like no page took me more than like 13 hours or something. And I was like, this is amazing. And like I started working on Necromancer again, and I was like, man, why is this taking so long? And I went back and looked, and it's because for the Patriot Tales book, there was no page that wasn't over like 5 panels. And I was like, oh, of course.
I need to reiterate once more
Yeah.
that I am not
It's
doing this.
yeah, he's reiterating that it's his fault and he shouldn't write so many 12 panel pages, but what am I gonna do? I have to serve the story.
Pop up.
It's all about the story, and it's a great story. So all the strife and troubles, blood, sweat, tears, sore wrists, cramped fingers, or whatever the hell you artists deal with, I don't know. It's all worth it. Quit crying. But no, the final product, guys, it was so I was very excited, like I said, to get to read the whole, like it was a great first issue. It's such a great read. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job to remind people of why they should get to Kickstarter,
Yes,
and
please.
supporting, but if you need a reminder, supporting indie comics is great. And if you don't support indie comics, you're the Antichrist. That's about all I feel about it. I don't even believe in the Antichrist, but that's who you are if you don't support
That
indie
seems
comics.
very moderate.
you can pull quote me. You can tell your priest I said that. I don't give a
True.
shit. But yeah.
True, a moderate position, yeah.
Here it is first from Joel Rodriguez.
Oh, I forgot to change my name. It still says Joel.
You
Nice.
can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're Joel Rodriguez at the moment. What the fuck?
I own Metal Ninja Studios. My name's Joel Rodriguez. Get to work, Christian. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna clip that and send it to him. But I want to know what Jesse, Bibbits, and Sereno get up to in issue 2 and beyond. It's a hell of a book, guys. You should all be damn proud of yourselves, because you're doing a great job. And the preview pages for issue 2 don't seem to let up. And Luca, again, one more time, man, like so big congratulations for you for what you've done at Mad Cave and what you guys did at Nottingham. That was so cool. And it was just cool to, like, I don't know. I feel like you guys like launched that like right around the time like I started doing all this shit, and I don't know. Like I got to know you, I got to know David, I got and like I got to know a lot of Mad Cave people because of all you weirdos, and so it was a very oddly enough like this Nottingham is you guys in Nottingham.
We're linked.
Yeah, we are linked forever. So, anyways, I really appreciate you guys. I loved reading this book. And I know other people are gonna love reading it too. And if you don't, you're wrong. I ain't like that. You're not the Antichrist. You're just fucking wrong. Give
us engagement.
I might take a little bit. Guys, real quick. Obviously, like I'll post links to the campaign. It'll be in the YouTube description. And then I'm sure you guys have all been doing great about letting people know where to follow the campaign. But let's go around real quick. Let people know if you've got websites, newsletters, places that we can give you guys money, easy stuff like that. Let us know. Let's start with you, Mr. Jason. You got let us know where to stalk you.
All right.
Social security number, last 4 of your social.
All right. So you can find me on my website, jasonpiperberg.com. That's kind of my central hub. I'm at Jason Piperberg on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm not calling it the other thing. And Blue Sky, also at Jason Piperberg. And basically, if I have the social media, it's probably going to be that. And yeah, I've got a Ko-Fi or a coffee if you want to throw me a little tip so I can get that artist edition. And what else? I have a book that I'm going to have on at Baltimore Comic Con with Dylan. We're going to be tabling there on the 20th. And I guess this might air after that, but I have a book called Star Set Delivery, which is about a galactic courier and his three-eyed pet, which is basically a dog, sci-fi slice of life kind of thing, with some different stories in that book. And you get the digital edition over on my Ko-Fi.
You can find me on all of the socials, every single one of them, except for no, I botched it. There's one that I'm not. Tumblr. I'm not on Tumblr.
Oh,
You can find me on everything else at Dill Gilbertson. There are very few places you can give me money. So if you want to give me money, you just have to do it through the Kickstarter. Go to necrocomic.com. It'll bring you straight there. Try to make it easy. Go there. We have shirts for sale at our add-on store. We have issues of number 1 are also available. So if you missed issue 1, you're not going to miss out. If you back issue 2, you can get the whole thing over there. Otherwise, catch me on the next time I'm talking to Blake.
Very presumptuous of you. No, I'm kidding.
If I say it has to be
I guess
true.
someone thought this went well. No? But yeah, Luca, where do we what do you got going on? We keep track of you.
I have an IMDb actually profile. Because
Do you really?
I actually do. The only contribution is I seriously do because of my role as an editor, as a co-leader on the To Your Last Death. So they made me the IMDb.
Oh, nice.
And for social medias, just like Dylan, I'm on OnlyFans, Fansly, and all. No, I'm considering it. They tell me it's good money, but maybe I'm out of target. I am pretty much on Twitter and Instagram mostly as Malcolm Oak or Malcolm Oak Colors, either of the two. And you cannot give me money aside of funding Kickstarter, so please do that because I would like to eat.
Yeah. Oh, I also have digital brushes if there are any artists
yes,
out
get
there.
them. Those are good.
You can get them on my Gumroad or my Coffee. They're mostly for Clip Studio Paint, but I have a couple ones for Photoshop and Procreate and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was
Jason has
interested.
been
You call it
proselytizing me.
Gumroad because like Ko-Fi Coffee. I had thought it was Gumroad. Bad joke. That was a real bad joke to end this interview with. I tried.
I almost felt bad for laughing because I thought you were serious. Am I an asshole?
He does not deserve a laugh there. That's
Gumroad, yeah.
I regret.
On my Gumroad.
Everybody, make sure you follow these amazingly talented comic book creators. You got to check out the campaign. Like you said, you can still get issue 1. There's some cool stuff. The map, everything is so amazing. But for real, like when you look at these preview pages, I don't know how you're gonna look at it and be like, not want more, not want 2 issues plus of this. So yeah, check it out. Let's get these guys past 50. Let's get these guys past 50,000. These guys past 50%.
No, that's a great idea.
Let's go.
Please.
Let's go. Yeah, rocking them past 50% on the way to this campaign. You know, these things are stressful. Yeah, right. Just get them tomorrow. Just wake up tomorrow.
Oh my god!
Before this airs,
I
there
check
better
the
be
Kickstarter.
50,000.
First thing I do when I wake up in the morning is check the Kickstarter and just pray
That's so
that we rocket past our goal.
That's such a bad habit to have.
It's such a bad habit. I'm telling you, like it's killing my mental health. Once we're funded, I can put my phone down, but until then, I'm just constantly cycling through every social media app plus Kickstarter.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
There's no in between. It feels like it's either like complete and total disassociation and no one looks at and you're like, oh, are we even live? I didn't know. And, or it's like a continuous refresh and it's like, we lost $5. Why? You know, it's like
if you didn't notice, we're kind of passionate about this project.
Yeah, that's good. So the romance is still, the love is still in the air. The necromancy is still in the air.
Yeah, somehow.
Still keeping it fresh, switching things up, taking risks in and out of the bedroom.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Call these guys Dave Grohl. Whoa, all right.
Oh, no.
sorry. Ray, Jason ain't got no kids. He told us that, all right? So
True, I don't.
Jason's like, don't call me Dave Grohl. No, sir.
Oh. Mm-mm.
We're offering pizza if you want to join in.
Well, it's obviously going to keep getting weirder. So I'm just... I'm going to wrap this up. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Also, everybody who reached out with the kind words. Thank you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just trying to get caught up and you know, stuff. But thank you for the kind words and for being there and supporting. Thank you for always listening to the episodes. Love more, hate less. Read comics. Back my neighborhood. I almost did Neighborhood Necromancer. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, you did so well this whole time.
I know. I
so
didn't do
proud of
it
you.
at all. Back my neighbor Necromancer. Shout out. Go back and listen to the previous episode where I call this book the wrong title at least 5 times. I think, and I think even on the promo, when I did the promo, you guys were like, "Oh no, Blake, that's the wrong title." Did we? I fixed it, but
You're not alone. I handed someone a flyer yesterday. I was like walking and I heard people talking about comics and I had flyers on me. I was like, hey, if you are interested. And they were like, oh, My Neighborhood Necromancer. I was like, I'm not going to correct you.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Whatever gets you to click that link, bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, My Neighbor Necromancer. It is so good. The saga of Jesse and Bibbits. We all need it. We need it in our lives. Just tons of magic and pet shenanigans and adventure. The simpler times of youth when things were easy and you just went on adventures with your undead pet and fought evil wizards.